All right, look who I found, guys. We got Nick yet again in the flesh. He's gonna walk us through pretty much everything here. So let's go ahead and start off by unboxing. So when they get the package in the mail, this is what it's gonna look like. Oh, wow. Oh, you already got the installation, everything in there too?
Yeah, stickers, installation.
It's all color too? My goodness. Okay. Hey, Dylan, do you want the instructions here?
Oh. Dylan's got all the tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
He's beyond the instructions.
Yeah.
If Dylan had his way on the instructions, it'd be another extra 5 pages. I wrote the instructions.
Yeah, he made the instructions. Yes. Oh, so that's a skid plate here.
Yep.
So yeah, new skid plate. And look how nicely wrapped it is. And solid stuff. That's gonna be for that front diff.
You're gonna have a lot. I think we just laid it all out, and then you can go over it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's a good idea. I just want you guys to see just how well they packaged everything in here too.
If we did it all unpacking everything, we'd probably be here for about a 2-hour vlog.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and take everything out. But yeah, so far.
Someone's excited.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. Absolutely.
Excited.
Oh yeah.
So here's your kit pretty much laid out of the box. And maybe we can take a minute to go over a couple of the key features of some of this stuff.
Yes.
So it's not much to the kit, but I do want to identify, like, you are getting the lower control arms are dropping down 4 inches, and then this is your front cross member. This is how the front end drops down, right?
Yes.
And so I want to show real quick here. I got a measuring tape, and we're gonna show, if you can see that, we're talking 4 inches from center bolt hole to center bolt hole, okay? And then I also want to point out that if you can maybe center that on your side there, right there, but we are sitting at 25 3/4, I want to say.
Okay.
Okay, and let's go down to the next one.
Center it off right there.
And we're sitting at 25 3/4. So this is signifying that the front track width is not wider. So anytime that you see a front cross member, and obviously the rear cross member that goes along with it too, but you'll notice that some lift kits will drop down.
Okay.
And then they're jogged out to the side, which dictate a wider span on the lower control arms. And we always talk about widening the track span. Sometimes it's a visual thing that people don't like to see, because in the front tire wheel sticking out further than the rear axle.
Yeah.
But in this case, the other significance to it is that the lower control arms aren't pushed out, which means the torsion bars don't get pushed out wider as well, which that also means, because the torsion bars stay in the factory location and in the same zone, there's a cross member on the frame that the torsion bars go through. And if this was a wider track span, by even a 1/2 inch on either side, it would run those torsion bars real close to the torsion bar tunnel, the hole that it goes through on the chassis. So that means that you would have to basically cut out that hole and make the hole wider. So then the torsion bar couldn't rotate back and forth with well, it rotates, but it arches, because as the suspension is moving up and down, the torsion bar is flexing out with the suspension travel, right? And that's why you would have to cut out that torsion bar tunnel. So in those cases, but you don't have to with this kit. So less obtrusive installation on your truck. And you're talking exactly 4 inches.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not calling it a 4-inch kit, but it only drops it, 3 inches. No, this is 4 inches.
I see.
And then over here on that side, we have diff drops, which you grab one of those. So in this case, this is a passenger side diff drop, and it's marked AT4X. And the reason why is because an AT4X diff drop is going to be different than a standard 2500 or 3500 diff drop. And the reason being is that if we measure this right here, it's 3.5 inches, just a little bit less than 3.5 inches. And that's because, like I said in a previous video, that the AT4X comes with those diff mounts that we took off the truck that we're gonna paint.
Yeah.
Those diff drops on an AT4X are not the same as a standard HD. The AT4Xs drop down 5/8 of an inch. That's how that CVA gets a little bit more lower down of angle is because the AT4Xs and ZR2s come with a dropped diff. And it's not spacers like we would do on the aftermarket world. It is actually the diff mounts themselves, lower the diff down 5/8 of an inch. So with that, this diff drop that comes in the kit is going to be less that 5/8.
I see. Okay.
So everything gets equaled back out, and when it's all said and done, it's going to be equal to like a standard truck. Do you lose your AT4X ZR2 suspension? No, it's all still there.
Yeah.
But this kit is designed to work for that particular truck.
Right.
Package. That. So
Right. Now people don't need necessarily upper control arms necessarily.
No, it's not a necessity.
Okay.
But I will tell you, like we discussed earlier, or possibly in one of the other videos that we shot, these control arms right here are going to reclock the ball joint angle.
I see. Yeah.
They're designed to give you a little bit more caster adjustment in them.
Yeah.
So it will provide better alignment spec. The other thing though about these control arms is that it's going to enlarge your droop travel by 1 3/4 of an inch. So basically, instead of you having 6 1/4 inches of travel, you're now going to have almost 8 inches of travel. Okay, which is a significant amount of percentage more. So this is going to improve your ride quality.
I see. Yeah. So you definitely, if you're after ride quality, you and if you plan on going off road too, like if you are someone that does go down a beaten path, these are good just to have this a better overall suspension.
Yeah, because like I said, if you go off road, that means your suspension is going to be cycling.
Okay.
So the name of the game is to basically get your truck at the right height that's going to be optimal for compression travel and droop travel.
I see.
Because if you limit either one, it's going to basically alter the ride quality and how the suspension reacts. So with this, you're improving that droop travel point.
Nice. That's good. This is the front
Cross
member, and then that's the rear one right there. So the diff is going to pretty much kind of sit cradle right in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Which this is backwards, just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
I see.
Yeah. So when it's all bolted in, your diff is going to be right in here. And then these are your spindles right here, which these are taller than factory. For the reason being that we lowered the lower control arms, so this matches that span. That is now new with the 4-inch kit.
I see. Nice. And then you have your diff cover here.
Yep. Diff skid guard.
And then your torsion bar sitting.
Torsion bar drop. Brackets. Yeah.
Nice. And then this is for the rear here.
Yep. Inch and 3/4 rear block.
Inch and 3/4 rear blocks. And then over here.
Those are going to be your new brackets for that go along with your shocks or multimatic shocks.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah, because Yeah, because you're dropping down the suspension, so you want those to still perform it within the factory specs.
Yeah, so because those shocks would be too short otherwise, it's a shock.
So you guys have a prototype going on here. I saw it on your truck earlier, and can we? Yeah. Let's go see what's going on over here really quickly, because I want you guys to understand something. I'm going to be upgrading to the M84s when they come out.
So we're doing prototyping right now on the M84 series reservoir shocks.
Yeah.
They're in development, making sure that we find the best valving curve and ride quality out of the shock that goes along with the AT4X package.
Yeah.
So we're just in testing right now, and when it's ready, we'll release it to the public.
Nice. Cool. Let's go check them out real quick.
Let's go.
So stay tuned, guys. They're going to be releasing some shocks, and I'm going to most likely get these and replace my Multimatics. But Nick's going to kind of explain to you guys what's going on right here.
So these are our M84 series reservoir shocks. These are the ones that are off my truck right now that we're currently testing and developing its own valving spec setup built for the AT4X. So something to consider is like each one of these platform trucks, right now there's 3 different spring packs from what I'm understanding that Steve has been going over and like figuring out the differences between the spring packs, the 2500, the 2500 tow package, and then the 3500. So if you notice on our website that basically the 2500 and 3500 have 2 different part numbers. The kits are the same relatively, it's the shock package.
I see.
So that's gonna, because it's got a stiffer spring, bigger spring pack in the back, it's gonna warrant a different shock valve. Okay, so that's why we have 2 different part numbers in that respect. Now on the 18RX, that's another one. So that kit is going to warrant its own build of the shock. Now these shocks, as you can see here, we're opened up here at our facility, and so right now we're just changing some stuff and just seeing how we're playing with valve curving and stuff like that.
I see.
So yeah, these shocks are built here and they're fine-tuned and everything by Steve. And
wow.
Yeah.
So you guys literally build these in-house. You're not having a secondary company outsource this and build them for you. So either way, it's quicker, cheaper. You're doing it right here in the shop.
Shock dynos, I mean, everything is done in-house, just like it would be done at another shock manufacturer, just obviously smaller scale.
I see.
You know, but the thing that I think is most important here is that these are all tuned by Seat of Your Pants Performance, making sure it's not like, okay, let's just say another manufacturer has developed a shock that is just for a 2500 and that's it. That is the 2500 shock. Well, here we're doing a shock for the 2500, the 3500, and obviously now, like we talked about, the AT4X, and it's going to be fine-tuned Seat of Your Pants Performance. Okay, not just off the book. Literally drive, pull apart. Drive, pull apart.
Wow. Okay.
So I know some people have eagle-eye guys been seeing, oh, hey Nick, you got the reservoir shocks. Yes, but it's in the phase of like testing it and figuring out what, you know, once we get to something that we really like, okay, cool. Now can we make it better? And if we try it and it's not better, okay, go backwards again, go back to the other, you know, valving curve and stuff like that. That's inside. When I say all that, it's all the shim pack and everything that's on the piston on the inside, and just how the shock is you know, built internally.
Gotcha.
To provide the best ride quality. Okay, so what's going on right here? This is not a typical practice of taking this diff mount out, but this is the diff bracket, the mount that is bolted to the frame, and this is an AT4X style diff mount, which drops the diff down a little bit further than a standard truck. But the reason why we're taking this out is because it looks like crap, and we are going to sand it down and we're going to paint it black so it looks better. So that's one of the things that we're going to take it off. That's not a normal practice, but like if you want to be like next level of it, then I suggest taking those out. And then the other thing we're going to take off is this center link, because that also looks not good either.
No, just not.
So we'll go over the bench real quick here. So my suggestion that anytime that you are installing this 4-inch kit or any IFS, you know, HD kit, is to take the extra, you know, effort, and you want to sand down your seating shafts on these ends. These are your upper diff mounts. Whether you have an AT4X or a standard HD, you can bolt these. These are bushings right here that go to the frame. Those provide a isolation from the front diff vibrating around solidly to the frame. So these are the bushings for that diff mount on both sides. You got a passenger and a driver's side. And then your front differential, this is aluminum, cast aluminum, but then over on this side it is cast steel, which obviously again here you can see how it's all, you know, surface corrosion. I called it rust in my video, and someone called me out, and it's actually corrosion is the technical verbiage, I guess, but I'm okay with it either way. I'll take it. Yeah, sand this all down, tape it off, paint it black before it goes in the truck. It'll make your truck look that much cleaner of an install when it's all said and done.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited about this because, yeah, this looks terrible for sure.
And how many miles do you have on your truck?
32,000 miles?
Yeah, so this right here is like standard. If you go and you watch my install of my truck only had 2,000 miles on the truck, and it was not far off of this.
Yeah.
Like literally not that far off.
Well, this is just bare steel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't do any protection on these.
And just I want to clarify something here too for all the guys that are like, you know, oh, you know, Fords or Chevys or Rams or whatever's better. This is not a GM isolated situation. Like Fords and the Rams, they have their own parts that are raw, the drive lines and other pieces that are raw that get the same scenario of corrosion happening.
Yeah.
So again, anytime that you're lifting a truck, my suggestion is to take a little extra effort and clean it all down. If you're having a shop do it and labor rate and everything comes into effect, yeah, you're gonna have to pay a little bit extra. And let alone, gotta understand that like taking these diff mounts out and cleaning this up, this prevents the installer from going any further. So it's gonna be a stopping point on the rack. So that's going to eat up a little extra time. So just I want to also throw that out there is that if you do present this to a shop to have your kit installed and all this stuff, how to paint it, just be aware that there's going to be a little bit of cost involved, not just for the labor to paint it all up, but because of the time that it takes to remove it all, to do it, and then let alone time lost on the rack. Just keep it in mind.
No, I appreciate this. Yeah, this is, yeah, my truck will be 3 years old this year, and I mean, this surface rust is pretty bad. And I pretty much do an underbody wash at my house. I have a sprayer that goes up in there. So because this is bare metal, it's going to have this corrosion that's going to accumulate.
This isn't the fault of you, not
exactly.
At all. Not at all. That has nothing to do with it. This is a typical, I mean, you should be able to use your truck in dirt, you know, go into the snow and all that stuff. You should be able to use your truck for typical truck reasons. This is just part of the territory to either do it or not do it.
Sure. Cool.
So I want to quickly show you on my truck basically what you're going to be looking at for droop travel, like we were talking about those upper control arms. Control arms, the 4-inch kit. It's set up at exactly 4 inches. We're going to do a measuring tape real quick here. And like we discussed before, your truck started off at 26 inches from this fender lip down to the center hub. And right now I'm at, well, I think pumped it just a couple. I'm just right over at 28. Right over 28 inches, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna jack this up and I'm gonna show you how much this thing droops out.
Okay. Yeah, we already have it off. He already pumped it up just a little bit with the jack.
Still going.
Still going. Oh yeah, it's still on the ground.
We off?
Nope. It is now actually. No, it's still. Oh my gosh. There it is. Wow.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
We're sitting at 32 inches. So what's the math there?
For that, 4 inches.
From ride height. So again, there's movement that's allowed. And if you have no movement, you can't have ride quality.
Right. Wow. Wow. This is
So you're going from your factory. When you drove in here, you had two inches of droop travel.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 4 inches when you leave from and you're gonna be 2 inches taller.
And this is gonna be better than what even the factory.
Yes.
Denali's AT4.
Yeah, because they only come with just a hint over 3 inches.
Okay.
And I know we're talking fractional half inch, inch and a half. We're talking, you know, small minutes. But the thing about that is that I always resort back to these trucks come with 6 inches of travel. So when we're talking an inch, 2 inches, that's a huge percentage of what we're already working with.
I see.
If we were working with like 10 inches of travel and we're talking about an inch, okay, that's small percentage.
Sure.
But we're talking, you know, huge percentages there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from 2 inches to 4 inches of travel, I mean, that's double.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest complaint I've seen with these trucks is why do they ride so stiff? And we've talked about the tires, but I think because you're losing so much of that suspension travel, I think that's you have to take that into account. So if you want to fix that problem, this is the true way to do it. And I'm again, like, you could do whatever you want to do, but I really truly believe that once I drive this truck over here and once we're done, you guys see it's getting all taken apart right there. This is going to be the game changer for the AT4X, and hopefully in the future, well, hopefully not for you guys, right? But if GM were to do upgrades to this framing, they would be able to give you what you need for that suspension travel, but it's probably not going to happen because it's going to cost too much for them to develop a whole new framing for this droop travel.
Yeah. And earlier, your truck was up on, I mean, my truck's tilted right now.
Yeah.
But if you if you look back right here, again, you see how the tire, that's all drooped out and everything, and you see how the tire still, I mean, it's got a little bit of lean to it because it's fully drooped out.
Yeah.
But my point is we got that much droop and we're not bending the tire in like tremendously. Again, it's just all this geometry situation.
Right.
With what we gain.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, look how much taller it is. If you were to drop it down a little bit, I mean, this is what another.
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So I have guys that reach out and they're like, hey, so your kit's adjustable. Every IFS, whether it's an HD with the torsional bars, it's adjustable with the torsional bars, or you have a half ton that you can put a shock spacer, a strut spacer, or you have an aftermarket strut that has different ring positions to raise or lower the strut.
Yeah.
IFSs are adjustable to a certain degree. So someone might see this and be like, oh man, I could buy a 4-inch kit, and I mean, we just said this is, what was this? This is 32 inches.
Yeah.
So 32, this is basically, oh gosh, that's 8 inches.
Yeah.
Per factory.
8-inch lift.
So here's what happens. Sometimes guys will buy an IFS kit. I see it a lot of times where they'll say, oh, I bought the 4-inch kit, but they cranked it up to this high and they call it an 8-inch kit. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, now you're gonna have a horrible ride again. Yeah, and that's what we're trying, really that's what you're trying to fix when you go with this 4-inch kit, that and the droop travel.
And people have asked, they're like, oh, you fit 38s. Can you fit 40s? Well, I say no, but someone can prove me wrong because you crank up the front of the truck and make it taller.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're gonna have more room.
Absolutely, you
So,
do.
so who's right or wrong? My perspective of no is because I wouldn't want to change and diminish the dynamics of the suspension.
Yeah.
But to someone else might say yes because they don't look at it in that form.
I see.
They say that they got the height, but they're not understanding the geometry now and it's all whacked out. So whenever I say no, my perspective is no is to make sure that it stays within reasonable characteristics of the suspension.
Yeah.